welcome in. And if you're new to my channel, I'm so excited you're here. My name's Carey. I am excited for you to be here today because every Friday I live stream at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we do a variety of readings here. So I definitely love doing tarot readings, tarot for insight, for clarity, for depth. Pardon me. Here comes my coffee. Thank you. And thank you. It's my Friday need a coffee to my sweet husband. So I do readings every week. And so what I like to talk to, hello, Joy. Good to see you. I love talking to my community here to be able to really find out what kind of readings does everybody like and what do what sparks your interest. I like to go pretty deep. I do a lot. Most of the people that I work with, both for readings and also that I train, like to get in there and really talk about their spiritual awakening. They want to talk about manifestation, healing. They want to deepen their relationship with their intuition, their guides, but also their loved ones. They want to, manifest and have prosperity. So we do all these things here. But we also talk about past lives, Akashic Records, timelines, and things like that. So I'm so excited you're here. And guys, just kind of getting used to my camera is over here, but my computer's over here. So I have a couple things going on. So let me just pull this up. So I wanted to really clarify today what kind of readings we have for this week. So most of my community members and my subscribers love these types of readings. So we're going to be doing channel messages from the goddesses. And I work with a variety of goddesses, and I'm also very open to which goddesses come in. It doesn't matter which pantheon, as long as it's an open pantheon. And I'll bring through messages with them. I've been a channel and a guy and medium for over 25 years. So I have a lot of experience. I help people do that as well. Learn to train to do that. So we're going to be doing that today, channeling the goddesses. Then we're going to be getting messages from the Akashic Records. Now, these will be channeled collective messages. So you definitely want to see if it resonates for you. Again, they're also timeless. So if it really maybe doesn't click today, chances are if you come back and look at it another time, it'll be exactly what you need to hear. So I'm always talking to your spirit guides and your ancestors. Now, today, I think everyone's going to really like this. I'm actually going to do some mediumship today. And I'm calling it ancestor messages because a lot of the times with mediumship, we're used to having the expectation that it will be like a loved one that we have met and that is directly connected with us. Hello, hello, Linda. Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I'm going to sort of move my computer this way so I can see your words here as well. So if you see me looking off, I'm connecting with the chat. And so, so we're going to be doing that. So I'm going to be doing some mediumship. And then if you stay till the end, which I highly recommend, I'm going to be doing a giveaway here in the chat. Also, if you're watching this on the replay, I'm so happy you're here. I'm excited. Please make sure you comment on this video just so I know who you are, more about you. And I'd love for you to join the community as well. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I am going to take a couple sips of coffee. I'm going to see how my community is. How's everybody doing? So excited you're here. Let me take a little sip of coffee and then we're going to get started with our readings. How's everybody's Friday? Do we have plans for the Easter weekend? We in our family are going to have friends over. We trade houses every year. And this year, I'm really excited because I think the weather's going to be nicer here in Oregon. And that means we can go out for a hike. And we always love doing that with our friends. And who doesn't like being outside? Also, notably, coming up in another couple of weeks, we do have Beltane. So in the community, sleep. Joy's like, I'm going to sleep. Listen, that's the best thing ever. There's nothing like a good long sleep, especially after you've had a really long, hard work week, right? Or just been busy. That is something. I love that. So another thing I want to mention is that Beltane is coming up. And again, in my community, I have a membership and also other communities where you'll find out more about the things that I offer as time goes on. But we have a membership called Goddess Rising. And in Goddess Rising, we really are getting in connection with our spiritual path. We're also connecting more with, I would say, earth-based spiritual traditions. And the one we like to link into a lot of the time is more where we're connecting with the Sabbats, which can be found in Wicca. Uh, that's, another conversation. And that means that Beltane, if you're in the northern heavens hemisphere, is coming up at the end of this month, April. So that's really when we're getting more resonance and celebration with these earth signs and how things begin to change and develop over time. And the seasons mark not just a change in like the weather or things like that, but also really a change in what we are, how we show up with our energy, right? So that means we're springing to life ourselves. We're growing. Things are starting to emerge. We're shedding things that we had from the winter and we're moving into a deeper spring. Hello, Christy. Good to see you. Welcome in. So excited you guys are all here. Thank you for being here. I'm going to take another sip of coffee. Then we're going to get started with Akashic Records, which I'm super excited about. Now, I'm sorry, goddess. The goddesses are like, no, excuse me, we're first. Okay, so I'm going to tap in now. I know some of you were here last week. And so those of you who were here last week, remember when we opened up and we got one of the Norse goddesses came through in that reading. And that was really interesting. I want to say, I think that was Skadi, one of the Norse goddesses. I think some of you will remember that. That was really fascinating. I like to explain things again because I am a teacher and I like to share because I want you to validate when you have different spiritual experiences. But one of the things that I have as a personal experience, but also that my students will talk about is how they start to sense different spirits around them. And then we learn about identification. And that's really classes I teach is like spirit communication, spirit identification, understanding energy. And so when we were leading in last week, we had this Norse goddess came through, and the way it came through to me is I could sense her first, and then I got a flash of her name and her essence, and then I confirmed it and got some validation from it, and then we pulled her up, and so she brought through her personality and her strength and her candor, and, that was just, I think, one of those moments of, I would say, mediumship where I think we all got something out of that one. It was pretty interesting. So let me see who's coming through now. I just wanna sense. Usually we have one or at least a few coming through, and then I'm always wanting to reach for one of my decks to see who it is. So let me close my eyes and feel free to check in with me yourselves if you're here. Hi, Christine. How are you? I'm so glad to have you guys here. I'm thrilled. Thank you for being here. And if you see me looking between this way and that way, it's because I have this is where my all the chat is that I can see, but this is where my camera is. So you'll see me go back and forth. So I am looking at you here, just not reading your words at the same time. So I will like to say, if you feel as though you want to tune into this, let me know what you're getting. You're never late. You're always on time, Christine. Don't worry. Wherever you are is where you need to be. Okay, let's see who's coming through. Okay. I want to just check in. I'll be right there and see what I'm getting. And sometimes I don't know all the goddesses, so I have to do a little bit of divination to tune in. This, the who is stepping forward now feels like a primordial, like a very ancient goddess. I just want to see what I'm getting from her. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, I'm staying open. This is not what I was expecting, but is it ever? All right. So I want to say I feel as though, and I'm going to say this and I'll explain it in a minute. I actually feel like I have um one of the African goddesses stepping forward with me, and although I'm very touched and happy she's here, I actually don't tend to connect or venerate with unless I know and do the research on the goddesses when I'm not sure, especially with African goddesses, because it's not, some of them are from close practices. And so I think I'm going to acknowledge her and connect with her, but then I'm going to have to check in with my friend who is more connected with at this in her practice than I am. And that's my friend, Miss Keisha K. So I'm just going to connect, and it could be a message for Keisha. Hang on a second. Yeah. So I'll just give you what I'm getting just because I like to validate. This is definitely a very a wonderful elder, and she also could be an ancestor. Okay. So I'm not quite sure because I need to do some discernment, and I'm getting the chills. I feel like she's coming forward, and she definitely is telling me she's African, and I am getting information about her. So I'm going to get a couple of pieces without doing more than that, just because I want to make sure. And then we'll leave it there and I'll do my research. Okay. So she's telling me she is Zulu. Okay. And I feel like she is, as I mentioned, like an elder. Okay. Now she's telling me she's from Tanzania. Okay. So I'll just get what I can. I need to do my research, but here's what I'm getting, which is very interesting. And you guys who are like to connect with divination will your screen name is Shaka Zulu. Christine, what is your national? What is your origin? What's your heritage? If you don't mind me asking, because this could just be an ancestor elder. I'm not sure. Because I did say ancestors, as you notice. Anything can happen on a live stream, friends. You still have to keep your ethics and your integrity when you do the work. And I'm a researcher. She's going to answer me. I love this. Um, okay, I'm sticking with you. I'm watching you. Let me keep getting her message and see what she's saying. You're Japanese, but the crazy thing is my coworkers named me this and I always felt something was connected there. Okay. So here's the thing. Let me say this is that, sometimes in our lineage, our soul lineage, we have connections. And I don't ever like to assume anything, but I will say this. This could be also, we don't know, in your ancestry. So when it comes to your soul blueprint and and then the ethics of the way I approach working with different spirits, because I don't know enough, I'm going to just honor her, bring through any message she has, and then we'll continue on. But I'm so happy that she's here and there's a connection. So let me just keep getting a little more information from her if there's anything else. Just because if she is an elder, that's different than a goddess. So here we are. Welcome. Let me just tune in. She's really talking about going through the phases of mother maiden crone. So we're talking about the maiden phase, is what she's saying. If you see me looking off, it's because I'm connecting. So just a second. So she's handing me a flower that is just beautiful. It is a beautiful, so it's not okay. It's like a peony. And she's opening up like this. And she said, each of you are like a flower, like a rose. And you all have different stages within you. You're the chills all over. Okay, good. This is, you can take it. Hey, you came. So she waited to come until you were here. So I'm just going to go with that. So she's showing me this flower. So if anyone could take them, just if it's for you, good. So she's saying if in what we have to understand is that you are in many phases of your life at different times. You are growing constantly. So you're in the phases of maiden, mother, and crone, whether you're masculine or feminine, where you're somewhere in between, you are in a phase of these three things. Okay. And so she said, many of you are starting over in the maiden phase, and how she's showing me this beautiful flower in her hands. And then she said, a rose by any other name. She's giving me this image of being outside on this mountain range where she is from specifically. And she's talking about having a bird's eye view and a vision for your life. She said sometimes what you need to do is to literally go on a mountaintop, even if it's the highest point of where it is that you live, even if you live in, on the very flat lands of somewhere, go to the highest building, the highest place, and get perspective. Because she says many of you are caught up in different stages and it's keeping you stuck because you think you have to be in a certain place. You feel as though you're not doing enough. You're pushing yourself very hard is what she's mentioning to me. I'm going to ask her now if I want to get the permission thing of connecting with her, if she can clarify, because it still has to sit well with me, as you know. So I'm just going to let you know what this ancestor is saying is that she's not from a closed practice of any type. And I feel like she's much more ancestor than I would say a venerated goddess. Thank you. She knows that's important. She's also talking about candlelight. So if any of you can understand, okay, she's saying what you can do if you're wanting to open up and get messages from spirit. She said, what some of you try this. She said, put a candle on your table or your desk, have the whole room be quiet. A meditation 2 days ago is visualizing a flower slowly blooming with a light in the middle. The light is my soul. I definitely feel my ancestors. I've been calling upon them recently. Wow. This message is for you and then anyone else who's open. I love that. So you're definitely getting this as a validation. Wow. It's funny because today, it's always where it's supposed to be. It's always exactly what it's meant to be because I said earlier I could feel my guides going, you should do mediumship today. And I was like, I'll do mediumship. And then they said, but no, write down Ancestor. I literally wrote this probably 20 minutes before I came on. So if this is validating for anyone, remember these are meant to be, their intention is that these are encoded messages for anyone who can take them. Okay, so they're really for anyone. So Christine, I'm glad this is validating you. So the candle is a way to do divination. You can connect with your guides, ancestors. You can connect with angels, any spirit that you want to connect with. You can do it through a candlelit flame and just meditate and allow your gaze to pan out from the flame, right? And then just allow it to come forth. It's very much scrying, but by candlelight. And I'm sure it has its own name because every bit of scrying has a name. It's some kind of mancy. So let me see if there's anything else from her. She is really saying that under the candlelight, you can do automatic writing. Oh my God. Oh, chicken skin all over. I love that, Christine. Wow. I'm thrilled. I'm so glad. Well, listen, every Friday, here I am. You can ask your ancestors to come by, everybody. I'll see who comes. Hang on. So happy you're having that experience. Let me see if there's anything else. She's also mentioning something about getting a leg up. And it feels to me like you're standing up and that this could be connected to your career or something that you're thinking about adding into what you're doing, but boosting yourself up is what it's showing me. And then she's also talking about rice, connecting. There's something about rice. And I feel like, is rice an offering? Mm. I know, right? Exactly. The candlelight thing is a great one. I haven't done that in ages, too. Love it. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. She's also saying that she's talking about broad strokes for one's life. So That means she said paint with broad strokes. Don't paint with small, tiny little strokes. Paint with broad strokes. And that just feels to me like it's about manifestation. You just dreamt you fell in a rice paddy? Christine, you dreamt you fell in a rice paddy. Well, there you go. This is definitely a message coming through for you. Holy smokes, that's a lot of evidence. Just the way I like it though. All right. Well, let's say goodbye to this ancestor. She's always hanging around, especially by candlelight. Hang on. Let me connect and thank her. Okay. So she's moving back, but now I want to say I'm having what another goddess come through. So we just were not in order, but we love that. Actually, you know who's coming? Whoa, right before I got on your channel, I was writing a review about how the world painted me in one way and accepted for so long. Wow. That's a lot of synchronistic evidence. Amazing. We love that. Love it. So good. Love the detail. I am feeling actually today Mother Mary coming forward. So let me just tap into Mother's and Mary's energy. Again, I open up for all the who come forth, who are the goddesses. So let me pull Mother Mary's card because I do have that here. And again, Mother Mary is not attached to Christianity. Just please know that. She's a symbol for the Divine Mother and here as a presence of nurturing, light, comfort. So let me bring her card forth and show her for you so you can gaze upon her. And then I'll just bring forth whatever she is. Oh, there she is. Yep. Okay. Now, you guys are going to love this little screen setup I have in a second so you can get a closer look. All right. So let me bring this forward. All right. So let me bring these and make everybody the same size. Okay. So let me come forth. So there's Mother Mary's image right here. This is sort of backwards for me. There we go. Here we go. Not intuitive in the least because it's backwards, but that's okay. So the image I'm getting from, or the message that she's bringing forth for us today is really about imagine that you're resting your head on a pillow of the goddess. Do you like it? Good. I'm glad. I'm trying to do what I can here, Heber. I'm trying to look at how to do the things. Here we go. So we're channeling Mother Mary. And again, Mother Mary is not, please know, she's not classified if you are not a Christian. This is not, I'm not a Christian, but she's coming forward as a maternal figure. Thank you. She's coming forward as a maternal, loving figure for all of us. I'm just going to put that a little closer. There we go. Pretty good. All right. That was good. So she's coming forward as a maternal figure for all of us. And the thing she's showing me is to really, literally, I want you to all imagine when things get really tough and it feels difficult and insurmountable. The goddess, in this case, the Divine Mother, in whatever form you connect with her energy, I want you to imagine that that's like a pillow right on your bed. And then as you lay your head on that nurturing pillow, your thoughts will be filled with peace and harmony and ease and relaxation and relief. And it is though you are touching what your version of heaven is. And you can program your own pillow, she's telling me. Wow. Okay, here's the message. She's saying you can program your pillow at night to be infused with the Divine Mother's energy. I've never heard that before. Wow. All the goddesses over the last few months, especially, all of them have been bringing forth these really tangible symbols and things that we can hold on to in our physical 3D reality that connect us with their energy. And this is no different. I really feel as though what she's saying is, imagine it's almost like you have a pillow that's full of like lavender, and the lavender is infused with this goddess divine mother energy. And because we all need that. And that as we lay our head on this pillow throughout the night, we become restored again spiritually, and that we can infuse our DNA, our bodies, our cells with that loving, high vibrational energy that's literally uh, gold. And I'm going to show you this image again because I want you to either take a picture of this if you're on your phone. I'm going to remove myself just so you. Amazing. So, wow. So that's the message from Mary today, and I'm thrilled. And here's what I've been doing. So I have been because we meet every Friday at this time. And so I use these goddesses as like they get to host here with me on my table. So because I'm doing spirit work all the time. So Hecate sits always at my table because she is my matron. Um, Goddess, deity, mentor. And then we always have a guest. So we will put her as the guest. And I will show you guys this. I will take a picture and put it in the subscriber chat of what this looks like, just so you guys can get the visual of it too. And I'll put a nice crystal by her. So let's think about, what do you guys think we should do? You can put it in the comments. Which crystal should we bring with Mary? So we have flower agate. We have the howlite. Sorry. Well, I'm going to put these up. You guys can see. Hang on. Okay. Tarot cam. So we have the howlite. We have the flower agate, which adventurine. Also, the adventurine looks a little bit like a heart. Carnelian. Labradorite. Golden healer. I know it's a lot of choices. I hope we can, if two or more. Hematite. Rose quartz. And then I'm going to have to ask flower agate. Okay. Yeah, flat. Hi Amber. Yes, my before I hadn't replugged in my mic. Heber, what is this little violet one? Can you see it? I don't know what it is. So you guys can decide. So we have one vote for the flower agate for Mother Mary. We'll see what everyone else votes for and what we end up having. That'll be fun. So we'll see. And otherwise, we're going to move on with our rose quartz, flower agate. Okay, maybe we need both of these. Okay. I'll leave them both up there for now. We love it. Okay, let's continue, shall we? Let me take another sip. So, next thing, lots of fun. We are going to be doing what's on our list, friends. We need to go back to our the drawing board. So we now have Akashic Records messages. So, okay, we've got 2 for rose quartz and a flower agate. Okay, so we're gonna put both on because it's Mother Mary, so she deserves it. So we'll put both there for her. They're so beautiful, you guys. They're so beautiful. I also have the rose quartz tower, so maybe I'll do the tower. That's a nice one for her. Yeah, this is a bigger one. Let me put that up there. I'll show you guys. Just did it. Did. You can see that rose quartz is yummy. You like the flower agate for her? Connection between the heart and the crown. Okay, babes. So I'll leave those because we had sort of a. I'll do the I vote flower. Okay, we'll do flower agate and we'll do the rose. Okay, I like it. I like it. All right, so now we're going to move on to Akashic Records messages. So excited. Oh, it's okay. Lepa Delight. Okay, thank you. And you'll have to tell me what the meaning of that one is. I don't think I know that one. Okay, let's get going with our next round. So here we go. Akashic Records messages. Now, for those of you that really are interested in the Akashic Records and you're wanting to learn, gosh, how do I access them? How can I work in them? Guess guess what? So I have several ways that you can learn to read the Akashic Records with me. I'll tell you the 3 different ways, and you can just think about them. So while I'm grabbing my cards for the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records, as you know, they're really essentially the energetic history of your soul. Every single life you've ever lived and all the information in between is the Akashic Records. It's like a memory bank. It's like a Google Drive for for your spirit. Let me just put these away while I'm doing this. So started working in the Akashic Records many, many, many years ago, but then I wasn't really drawn to working in them. I went there because I was trained by my teacher and we did it for past lives. So it wasn't really grabbing me for a regular tool. But in 2019, that all changed. And I began working in the Akashic Records much more actively and seeing the potential of working in them and learning to do healing, as well as being able to manifest more in my life because of the amount of energy I could clear out. So I was doing it mainly for myself at first, but then I started doing readings for clients, it just completely took off. So it's an incredible modality. It's great to learn for yourself. It's not difficult to learn, but it's good to if you can work with someone who can really get you confident in doing it and make you understand the potential. So on that note, I have a couple ways that we could work together. The first is that I have an absolutely free guidebook, which is linked to my profile, which you can easily find here. Good. Okay, so I'm hearing from Christine is asking a question about the records. So let's get the question. I really want to know more about my Akashic records. See why Shaka Zulu hits home to me. Was on a mission trip to go to Mozambique during college, but I had a family emergency, couldn't go. Wow. So this is really tying her in, probably past lives, to these locations that are obviously in Africa, which is not surprising because of what we just experienced with this, what I believe is probably someone who you're connected to on a soul level. I never like to assume until I do a little bit more work on being more precise, both through the way I do things, because I'm an evidential psychic medium. So, but I would say definitely that's someone in your soul family. I can say that for sure. So, yes. So the Akashic Records hold all that potential and then so much more and so much more. So here's how you can work with me. It's quite a few ways. So I'll try to be brief so we can move back into the reading. So the first is that you can always get a reading with me, an in-depth reading. And I'm continuing those. And I'm coming up with a new in-depth healing technique as well that I'm developing and creating into a modality for healing. And it's just extraordinary. Then the other way is I have the free guidebook, as I mentioned, you can get that, but also I'm teaching a workshop on how to access your own records. It is a 2.5, 3 hour workshop. I'm going to be doing it in May. I'll put the link up on my page. Today is Friday, so by tomorrow, I will be doing that, day before Easter. So it should be there. And then I'm also teaching an in-depth certification, and I teach that several times a year. That is something, if you're interested, I would definitely recommend it. And then I work with it within my memberships as well. So if you're interested in those, stay tuned. Okay. So let's get started. I'm going to really quickly read what Heber, Heber is actually one of the students who's graduated from my year-long program, is here hanging out in the chat and I'm enjoying his company as well as he's hanging out with everyone here in the chat. So here we go. He's saying, as remember the stone that he mentioned, which was, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, lepidolite. I think that sounds right. Known as the peace stone, helps facilitate emotional and mental stability, stress relief, and good for spiritual growth. That sounds pretty great. Harmonizes emotions and promotes good sleep. Good for anxiety. Just take a moment for that. Jenna, thank you. Oh my God, I'm going to put that up there too. What do you guys think? Just because she talked about the pillow and sleep. Okay, we're going to put that up there too. Let's look at this stone. I think I need to get a bigger one of these now. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me bring myself up there. Yeah, the lepidolite along with Mary. She gave us a channeled message which helping us with sleep. So I feel like we have to put it up there now. Who's voting for that? I think we should. I mean, that's the unexpected thing about channeling and when you have different people that are able to help. Thank you so much, Heber. Gosh, that's just wild. Woo! All right, so let's continue with our next reading. Okay, so what are we doing again? Just another refresher for everybody who is just joining us. First of all, thank you so much for being here. And this is what we're doing today. And if you're new to this channel and you're just dropping in from the internet and you're like, who is that? So my name's Carey. I am a medium and a tarot reader. And on YouTube, I do a variety of readings. It's so good to meet you. And I also do education related to spiritual growth, manifestation, and healing. So today we've been doing several readings. So this will be recorded and time stamped. And so you can go back through the readings and understand, so far where we are. So right now we are actually going into the Akashic Records messages. We have already done a channeled message from the goddesses, which we brought through Mother Mary, but we also had what we believe was an ancestor come through for someone, even though the ancestors messages isn't until next, but we are always open. And when it comes to ancestors, they do tend to come in when they decide to, and she snuck in on me because I wasn't planning on doing that until a little later, which I'm here for that. Okay, I don't mind the sneaky. Okay, so here we go. Let us begin with just taking a nice deep breath, and then we are going to be doing Akashic Records messages. What do we need to know? What do we need to learn for this week? And what's going to bring us the most healing, validation, and clarity? And when I do these Akashic Records messages here on the live, I use cards. And because I love the visual representation and sending messages. And so I work with my guides in that way. But you can work in the records multiple ways. I do healing in there. I do channeled messages. You could talk to ascended masters, archangels, spirit guides, deities, because it's a higher frequency. So you're closer to a match for where their resonance is. So the communication is clearer. So I'm going with what they're telling me to do. And I'm going to be pulling this oracle, an oracle deck that is called the Kantaji Oracle. I'll probably put a link later for the decks I'm using in case anyone is interested in that. Some people usually like that. And then I'm going to be using a lot of Rebecca Campbell's decks. I use those quite a bit, especially when I'm channeling in the records. So we'll just see what comes forth. And then I'm going to just tap in. What do we need to know? What are the messages? And also, what's the guidance and inspiration? What's the wisdom? Okay, let's just put everything in order. I'm going to be showing, I have a tarot cam, so I'll show you guys pick the cards I'm using, because with this camera, you can't really see the images as clearly. So I'm hearing they're telling me we should pick two of each card from these decks. I'm using the Starseed Oracle and the Know Your Light deck from Rebecca Campbell. So let's see what these messages are all about. Okay. Right. Okay. And last one. I love the Kantaji Oracle. It's a complex, in-depth deck that really blends all it has so many aspects to it. And the guidebook is like none other. I'll show you all, but they call it an ecologically conscious deck. Ooh, it's so powerful. Okay, let's see what I got. Now, Mr. Kitty, I'm going to have to move Mr. Kitty. Most people know, my students know this. The kitty tries to run the show in this house. And we love him, but not so much during live streams. So we'll see. I think he probably wants to go outside. Is that right? You want to go outside? Okay, I don't blame you. It's a nice day. All right, come in. I know, my love. Let's see. There we go. All right. I think that boy wants to go outside. Okay, Brian. Here we go. Oh, time to be able to get my energy ready for this reading. Here we go. Okay. What else do we want to hear? What else do we want to know? Okay. Let me tune in and see if they want anything else here, if they have any other energy or messages that they want to bring through. Let me just tune in here and open my eyes and just see if there's anywhere else they want me to pull from. Okay. I thought so. All right. I'm going to be bringing out this brand new deck that a friend of mine created. You can find it on Amazon, and I will show you this as well. It's called the Cosmic Wealth Codes, and there's so many reasons for that. Okay, let me bring that message forth through from the Cosmic Wealth Code deck. I love the deck. It's round as well, so that's all. I love the round decks. Okay, let me tune in and see what the messages are, because I can hear a message coming in. So let me just close my eyes and get in resonance here. Hey, just a second. So the big message that's coming through from the Akashic Records for today has a lot to do with finding your purpose. And this is a topic that's discussed often amongst many of us when we want to understand how to live in deepest alignment with our truth, wanting to make sure that we are absorbing and understanding where we're being guided from our spirit. And so, as you know, many of us feel as though our path is something ahead of us or something we have to seek, or that we missed something and it's behind us, or it's in another timeline, or it's pulled away. And really, it couldn't be further from the truth. Because just as Mary Magdalene said that she learned actually from Yeshua, is that the Christ consciousness, or in this case, the universe spirit, is within us. It's not external. And so why are we running towards something if what we want is within? So that means that we embody a spiritual path that is centered around us and in the center, and being guided from the impulse, the purpose, the passion, it is really truly within us. So that means clearing out what is holding us back, pushing us in different directions, and leading us astray, believing that our truth is outside of us when really it's within. So with that, let me reach in and just see what these cards say. Okay, friends, I'm going to put my little cam here, my tarot cam. All right. And we will put that up more front and center. Front and center. We are gonna have our guest here. Just a second. Let me get the strategy right. There we go. Okay. So deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. Just take a look at that image for a moment. And in your own intuition, I want you to see what pops out for you. What do you feel drawn to? Okay. She's connecting with the shell, and the shell really could be seen as an oracle. That's what I'm hearing. And or actually they're flowers. So we're getting the symbol of the flowers again today. So the flowers or a shell or any container can also be seen as like an or a place to connect, to get messages, to channel. And that's why us all developing our own inner channel to be able to flow and connect, to be able to hear spirit and let it flow. That's really what we want to focus on building, is that relationship with our higher self and our intuition and our spirit team. So that means that we're not feeling disconnected. We're not all the words that say, I don't feel connected. I'm looking for something else. We want to, abolish that from our vocabulary so that we can start speaking in a way. It's not false positivity. It's affirming what actually is the reality that you want to create. Next, we are getting that exact thing that says a new earth. Okay. And on that also says it's happening. Keep holding the vision. So let's look again at the symbolism here. Because this is where a lot of people in the New Age community get it wrong. And they think on a timeline means all of a sudden we're going to a new planet somewhere else or we're somewhere else. That's not what it means. Just my opinion, of course, humbly. The new earth is that you, in fact, are changing your perception of what you misinterpreted as the truth. So that means that you are not getting stuck in what you perceive are limitations, blocks, dead ends, things not working out. You're focused on your within and then building that power and removing what stops that. That is a new reality. That is the new earth. That's what it's meant to be. It's not meant to literally be we get on a spaceship and we go somewhere else. It's meant to be that we are affected to be in the most clarity where we're sitting, not somewhere else. Okay. Now we have the earth symbol coming through, which again, I'm so near and dear to this deck. Looks like Mount Fuji in the back, and I have very long black hair. Ah, just so beautiful image. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you feel that way. All right, let's look at this image. This is actually called the Moss Cauldron. Sorry about that. Next time I'll have a little more of a light right here. The Moss Cauldron, again, what are you getting from this? Underneath here, I have to tell you something. This cauldron is on fire, and there are two birds here. So with the cloud over. And in this case, I'm actually going to pull the guidebook out and look at the author's intention, because it's always, you can see I've got it like earmarked galore in this book. Look how thick that guidebook is for that oracle. It's incredible. Is so I could teach probably a little class on this, just this guidebook, which, I love that. Okay, my students know that's just right up my alley. So let's continue. I'm going to read you some of this because, like, if you're new to my channel, you'll understand this is like definitely channeling, definitely healing, definitely messages, but also a lot of education for all of us. So I love learning, and I hope you do too. So here's what this book is. It says, this is sort of like a poem. As you walk through the woods, I'll put this up. Let me get it in there. Hold it right. Here we go. Put it the right way. Keep going there. Okay. As you walk through the woods, you come upon a great old tree with roots that have created a deep bowl in which moss has grown. You are transfixed by the play of light on the minuscule pearls of dew that adorn the rich green moss. You are carefully You carefully that's a tough word to say. Just a second. I can do it. Extricate the moss from the tree roots so it maintains its bowl shape, and then walk on, cradling your green prize. When night falls, you build a fire. Remember the play of light on the glistening moss. You carefully turn the bowl inside out so the moss, still somehow covered in dew, can catch the flicker of the flames. Further entranced, you find yourself filling the moss bowl with water from a stream. Carrying it back to the fire and crafting a way to hang the moss bowl over the flames. As the water heats, you find yourself gathering an iridescent feather, a smooth stone, a bit of fur snagged on a burr, pollen from a blossom, a wooden thorn, and a tendril from a viridescent vine. You carefully drop each forest finding into the steaming, moist green cauldron. You are brewing an elixir. Seriously. Jenna saying, I'll continue with this. I'm doing housework while listening, but I just heard you say cauldron and fire. And it reminded me that I promised my ancestors some joss paper and got distracted. Well, there's your reminder, because they will remind you, won't they? Okay, here we go. Here's the symbolism of best card. Moss grows in damp, shady places, and the moss cauldron holds water that simmers over a fire. Here we have a mingling of elements that can create both balance and elixir. Here's the balance. The balance is fire warms and brings light, while moss cools and suggests shade. Fire moves, yet is not alive, while moss appears still, though it lives. Together they create steam and steady shifting movement. Here's the elixir. The fire activates and illuminates the inherent potential of the moss, while the moss gives the fire direction, unconstrained containment, and purpose. And this is really talking about the elements. Again, this is a pagan channel. Well, this is definitely, and people know I am a witch. I don't teach witchcraft. I'm not long enough in my practice enough, but it's in my heart. And that's really when we're dealing with the elements of nature. Okay. And then we have elements within our bodies, in our energy, and in our, in general, in our soul. So here's the archetype. The archetype has a couple of layers of interpretation. On one level, it is about balancing opposites and bringing them together in ways that facilitate the creation of something new and vivifying. In this sense, consider two elements in your life that seem to be in opposition and contemplate how you might bring them together in the right amount and way so that they create something new that balances their polarity and nourishes you. That's beautiful. So it's really about balancing fire and water. And let's talk about that from what are these elements represent. Fire in tarot also tells us that that's passion, inspiration, right? And water is emotion, creativity, relationships. And if you think about those two elements, they could cancel each other out. But how do they work in harmony? As in astrology, if you have a fire sign or a lot of fire in your chart and you're with a partner who has a lot of water, or if you have both of those elements in yourself, how can you balance those out and be really and validate each of them, right? And working in harmony. So there's so much in this book, balancing fire and water. Each of these pages literally each of these cards have like 6 pages. It's incredible. So that's a must. All right. So that's our friend right there. Next we have, this is pretty transformative. Let's bring this back to the Akashic Records, that particular element. So when we're doing healing work on ourselves and we can pull upon the Akashic Records, we can use those elements in order to transmute and also to balance. So we can use fire, we can use water, and a lot in the Akashic Records, we talk about often going into the place where the healing waters are, which is, if you can imagine in shamanism, they do similar things where you're accessing that element for healing, right? Healing. All right. So let's move on. The final part of this reading with the Akashic Records section is this specific deck, which my friend Taylor created. I'm going to just show it because I'll do a little. This is it. Is that right? Let me give it Cosmic Wealth Codes by Taylor Eaton. And it is really bringing in what I want to say, that higher frequency of abundance and wealth activation and getting used to that. Because again, we want to move out of the struggle. Wherever you are, set point with what you want to manifest. If it's financial, what have you, it's not so much about the things, it's about how you feel and the frequency and how much freedom you have. So in this is a beautiful card. It says, I am the creator of my wealth and the receiver of it. So I'm going to show you this one. I am the creator of my wealth and the receiver of it. Boop. I love the cosmic pieces that she's got in this deck. It's just beautiful. So that is our Akashic Records reading for this week. Just beautiful. All right, friends. So as we know, what do we have next? We are going to be working with the ancestors. So this is also going to be mediumship. So it's going to take a little bit of participation from everyone. So when I do these readings, just let me explain this because I haven't done as much mediumship on my lives here on YouTube. So let's talk about it. And I'll explain to you the process, how it works. Again, every week it's something different that we're doing. And it's really here in order to give back to all of you and for you to be able to, of course, enjoy the type of work I do. Also understand that I offer all these readings in private for private sessions, as well as recorded sessions. So if you did want to get a reading with me, certainly check out my profile. You can also go to my website too. It's under careycost.com. Okay, so let's just get feng shui this space so it's nice and tidy. And then we'll bring through. Make sure you stay to the end as well because we're going to be doing a little giveaway like we did last week. Okay. Let me just remove this. All right. So let's talk about mediumship and how that works. So essentially what's going to happen now is with mediumship, what I am doing is I'm connecting with someone who's in the audience and bringing through information, validation, and evidence connected to them or to you or to someone that's connected to both of you. Okay. And remember, when a loved one comes through, some of the things that they say, it's not going to be a black and white situation. So if they come through with symptoms or clothing or a memory or something, remember, you may not remember what it is. But that's why it's good to just wait and listen and then pay attention and write everything down if you feel so inclined, because you might be able to validate the evidence later. And because I'm doing this a little bit differently, this message might be for someone who watches this later. So just keep that open, and I'm leaving that open. So if the message resonates for you, great. Also, often spirits bring through universal messages, which can be for several people. So sometimes a bunch of them get together and they decide that everybody needs a message, So anything's possible, just so you all know how these things work. So what I'm going to do is when I'm reading through this information, if you're here in live in the live stream, the main thing is don't tell me anything. Like, don't tell me their name. Don't say that's my grandfather, Jim. Don't say any of that yet. Just do me a favor and put like hearts in the chat if you can take this, and then we'll figure out who this is. I'll probably put your information or your name up on the screen if you're okay with that. If you don't want it to be seen, I'll leave it in the comments and we'll get started. Just so you know, a lot of the time I get physical. You could see them as symptoms or information, and it could be also connected to you. Okay, let me just get a piece of paper in case I have to write anything down. All right. So the first thing I'm really hearing is I'm hearing the word grandpa. And then I feel like I'm really connecting with my teeth on the bottom right side. So before you guys comment, just give it a few minutes just to see what comes forth. Bottom right side specifically. I'm also hearing something about a knee brace and there being an issue with it feels like the right knee. And I literally see a brace, but I think this also could be for you or someone you're connected to is what I'm getting. Also, I'm having a difficult time breathing. And so it feels almost like I've smoked or that I have chest. Okay, someone's taken that. There's lungs. I'm definitely in the lungs and there's smoking here. Okay. I'm hearing music. So let me tune in. So, okay, we've got a couple people who are able to take this so far in the chat. And if you can too, then this is also will be end up probably being for someone specific, but if it's your loved one, you can also understand it. So we'll just keep going. We have several people who are able to take this. So I want to say right away in my lungs, I'm feeling, and if you're just joining us, welcome. I'm doing spirit-led mediumship right now. So bringing through evidence. This is definitely a person that smoked, and I'm hearing that there is tar in the lungs. And I want to say there's the masculine, the grandfather, but I also feel like the grandmother's here, and I feel like they both smoked, is what I'm hearing. So I'm interesting because I feel like I'm seeing a man, but I'm seeing a woman, and the woman definitely has short hair, and it feels to me like she got to the point of needing this short hair because she just was hot and uncomfortable, and it was a health thing. She was, I want to say, smaller in frame, and I'm seeing her wearing a house dress, and her hair is definitely gray, and she looks older than her years because of the smoking and just the lack of health. And I see her also wearing slippers that were very much like house shoes, or the type of slippers that you would never wear out. Okay, Christy too, and Jenna. All right. Okay. I'm getting a name, so just a second. So I'm hearing a name. The name also, remember, could be connected to a place, not necessarily a person, but I'm hearing this name, and the name is Langley, or very similar to Langley. So I feel like I was hearing like, I think that's an Air Force base. Yeah, I think that's what I'm hearing. I'll leave that there. Okay, Jenna can take that. Okay. So I also feel like I'm really exhausted and I am winded. And I'm also, she's making me feel like I felt like I was jet lagged all the time. So I was exhausted. I felt like jet lagged. I was winded all the time and just very grouchy. I'm also getting the number 67 as significant. Jenna, can you let me know in the comments, if you don't mind, how you can take this evidence, if you don't mind, and you could do that to Christy. If you guys are comfortable, it's up to you. I'm going to keep staying with the spirit, but this is what I'm getting so far. You can take all of it. And the Langley, I bet you can take too, right? Yeah. Let me put that up there. Hang on. I'll wait till you write I know, a Langley Air Force. Okay. I'm trying to remember how to. Yep, taking all of it. Ah, okay. So Jenna's saying she can take all the evidence. Okay, very good. Thanks, Jen. All right. All right, let's keep going. So it's interesting because you know what she's talking about, she's saying something about generational, all but not the name, but can take Air Force. Wow. Okay, Christy, this is definitely a message for you. Okay, great. So she's saying, Jenna, okay, so I think this is for both of you, um, Christy as well. So I kind of feel like when we get a message like this, Spirit's very efficient. I don't even understand how they all mesh together when we have a group, and some of you might be able to take this later. So that's an amazing thing. That's how it works. But his mom is passed too. Okay, makes sense. And he was 67 when he passed. I'm going to put this up so everybody can see. All right. So, okay, my grandpa was a smoker, was at that Air Force base. Grandma's alive, but fits that description. Um, and then he was around 67 when he passed. Okay. And then also Christy's saying both of hers have passed. So I like to do this. I'm coming back until being in the teacher mode a little bit again, is why we want to just open up and say, we're not trying to make anything fit. Spirit is in charge and we're just saying what we're seeing and feeling and sensing. And that's really important because if you put your filter on it, then you close off information that's meant for the person who's getting the message, right? So we want to keep very open. So let's keep going because I feel like there's a message here for several of you. So let's keep going. So I was mentioning before something about generational wealth. And I'm hearing something about this whole thing of like skipping a few generations. And so the message that's coming through is really coming through about money. Yeah, it's amazing how spirit works. It's absolutely right. So I'm hearing about money. That's the message. So I am getting the grandmother giving me the message. So I'm going to go with that. You know, even though I know Jenna says her grandma's not passed, but Christie's, we're just keeping open, getting the message. We're not concerned about that. So we're talking about making money. We're talking, all that checks. Yep. We're talking about money. We're talking about making money. And we're talking about, here's another thing, but there's something this spirit is mentioning to me about bribing. And she's saying something about no one should be bribed with money, that you shouldn't be bribed to do something because of money. You shouldn't use money as a weapon. You shouldn't think money has power. She's saying that money doesn't have power in and of itself, that you're the one with the power, that you deserve to be prosperous and abundant, and that money is just something that is an energy that's in your life. And you don't need to make it more or less than what it is. And you just need to enjoy it. She's really talking about having a relationship with money, like being healthy with money. and having the right mindset about money. And she's really saying, trust me. I had a lot of things that were wrong. And she's almost saying the word like rotten about money. And it makes me feel like either her generation or her parents' generation, there was a real absence of this because of the Depression. So, the Great Depression. And so there was a mindset of panic around money. And she said, this is something that was almost institutional, that they made money an abstract thing instead of realizing it's just an energetic currency. And so she said, you want to have the right mindset about money and to give yourself the benefit of being able to have access to a lot of that energy and to have access to money. So the way she's looking at this is just expansive, which is quite, you know, interesting. Just see if there's anything else coming through. I'm really seeing something. You definitely got the money wound. I know. So I'm going to be teaching classes on that. So healing the money story. I want to say one of them is talking to me about chewing gum. And I'm seeing an image of like Wrigley's chewing gum. And as though one of them either she always had it in her purse or they always had it, but it was definitely Wrigley's chewing gum. Does that make sense to anybody here? It's definitely Wrigley's too. Yes. Okay. Can you let me know, Christy, how that makes sense to you? I love a bit of evidence. Yeah, Jenna's like, that's all, Christy. Yeah, I like the joint message here, though. I'm very here for it. And then any of you who get this message too, you're grand. Yeah. hmm The postcard. Absolutely, Jenna. You definitely get that. That's for sure. Grandma always had it in her purse. Let me say something. This is the kind of evidence and details that spirits love to give. And it is like with a fine tooth comb. They find the thing that you will remember that no one else would know that but you or your loved ones, which is so magical. I really love that. I'm definitely getting this thing about it being at the bottom of her purse, maybe even like a little tobacco kind of mixed in. Oh, it's pretty cute. Um, Grandma always had it. Yep, exactly. Chills in both legs. Yeah, I love that. So that's definitely a grandma. Also, Christy, would you understand the name Betty? Does that make sense to you on any level? Like a circle of people of who Betty is? It's okay if it doesn't fit. I just heard that name, so always like to bring it if it's there. Yes. So, and who would Betty be? Okay, actually, she's talking about the gum. It sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Okay, that's fine. I'll leave that with you, and it could also be for someone else in the audience. But the gum makes sense, which I get. And the bottom of the purse, maybe with a little tobacco, stuff on it. Here's the gum. When your grandma would be like, "Here's the gum, but watch out for the dust." Or what else is in the tissue? That reminds me of my mom a little bit, not with the tobacco, but the here's it mixed with handkerchief, Kleenex. Okay, guys, definitely the gum. Now, if you're here on my live streams, I always do a giveaway. Right now, I'm doing giveaways. So I'm going to be doing that again. If you would like to participate and there's just enough of you, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So here's what we need to do. First of all, I think everyone here is probably already a subscriber of mine. So if you're a subscriber, yay, thank you for being a subscriber. I'm so grateful. It's like a giveaway. And the more everybody comes every week and the more we accumulate, I'm probably going to be giving away a 30-minute reading in a little while. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a 30-minute giveaway, a reading of your choice, a recorded reading. So, but for today, which we're getting there, if you guys could do me a favor, and I'm just trying to think of how to do this in an easy way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a number, but the only thing I'm concerned about is that I want to make sure that I know what I'm going to do, because there's just enough of you there. Give me a second. I'm going to pick numbers between 1 and 13, since I think there are 13 of you. And then I'm going to randomly choose at this point. Eventually, I'm going to get more sophisticated with this, but this is what we're going to do. So hang with me, and then I'll show you what you're going to win. Okay. Very exciting. We had this happen we didn't do it last week. We did it the week before. And I just sent it off to the winner. Pretty great. So what we're going to do is if you're wanting to participate, actually do this. If you want to participate, put your name in the chat. Just your first name's fine. You don't have to put any more personal information. But if you want to participate in the giveaway, put your name in the chat. And then out of that I'll count the number of people, since we're just enough. And then I'll pick one of these numbers at random. I think from what I'm seeing, we have 13, but we'll see if we do. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Amy. Okay. One more. And then once we do that, then I'll just count up how many and then be right back. Let me get my surprise bag. Just a minute. I'm so excited. All right. Here we go, everybody. Now, I'm going to grab one other thing that I need for this. Perfect. Oh, good. We've got lots of people. So is there anyone else who wants to participate? We only have 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, 4 is awesome. So if you do want to participate, feel free to just put your name, first name only, in the chat. And then I'll put you in the draft. If you want to win what I have here, I'll show you what I got. Okay, so today, what are we going to have for our gift? All right, so today you get to win a small version, a pocket-sized version of the Modern Witch Tarot, one of my favorite all-time decks that I use regularly. So this is one of my favorite sweet little decks. I love it so much. It's great because you can fit it in your purse, bring it to work, all the things. Okay, that's the gift. So, all right. So we have enough people here. Let me just get everyone. I'll just put in 4. Oh, right now, I love it. It's a perfect little size deck. It really, really, really is. All right. So once I see who's there, I know it's so sweet. Believe me. All right, here we go. I'm going to write down the people who are here, who are going to participate, since that's how we're going to do it. So excited. I know. Isn't that fun? All right, so let's see who we have here who's going to participate. All right, so we have Amy. Okay. And Christy. Okay. And okay. And then Miss Christine. All right. Okay. Let's see if there's anybody else before we get going. So we just have the four of you guys here. That's, hey, I love it. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right. Great. Let me go ahead. All right, you guys. Blow on it for the Modern Witch Tarot. And then so once whoever wins, if you guys can do me a favor and email me your address, okay? And we'll put this in the mail on Monday. Who is the winner? We have Christy. Congratulations. Christy. I guess your grandmother's coming through today, Christy. Congratulations for winning the Modern Witch Tarot. Hey, love it. What a fun. Yay. Okay, yes. Christy, feel free to email me with your address. I'll be doing this again. So I want to let you all know how Grandma, she's like, this goes along with the gum in my purse. She's like, there and the gum in my purse. You're welcome, right? So here's what I want to say, guys. I want to thank you all so much. Like I say, YouTube really has my heart. I have, never been as excited as I am about this community, this channel, this platform, and what this means. And which makes me really feel like spirit really has a big hand and a lot is going to happen here in this community. I can feel that. So I would say thank you so much for being a part of it. If you have friends, people you know that would benefit from the readings I do, from the space that's here, from this community and the other spaces I hold because I have a school and membership, feel free to send them our way. This again, every Friday, put it in your calendar, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, showing up like clockwork. And if I can't make it, I'll post it on the Monday before if, all is well. So I want to thank you again. This was an amazing live. I mean, it was pretty great. And they're like an hour and a half each. They're 90 minutes. So I like it. And if you have any questions or you want to book a private reading, let me know. Oh, great. Christine, that's amazing. Christine, how did you find this channel, by the way? I didn't ask you that. I always love meeting new people. So a lot of the people who know me, because my channel is still new here. Oh, Christy, thank you, honey. Because I yes, on Instagram. Yes. Instagram is working. I will take it. I always like to find out how people find me, and that makes me happy because then I know where to put my energy. I'm putting a lot of energy into this channel as well. So this and Instagram. I have a lot of wonderful people I've met on TikTok, which has been amazing, but it's always good to find the other avenues. All right. So I will see you all next week at this time. Have a wonderful Easter, however you find yourself, wherever you are, whether you celebrate or not, or you just like having the day off. I'm sending you lots of love. And look out for my next reading on this channel. Set your notifications too when I upload. And I've got some good things coming up. I'm also going to be doing some education on the Akashic Records. Be sure to check out the meditations I have here already. Yes, Amy, sending you all the best too. All right. We'll see you next week, subscribers. Take good care. Bye-bye.